bro farms aura, kneeling down to ask Mahito, "Are you ready to throw hands, bitch?" And like a child, Mahito rages out completely at Yuji looking down on him, immediately recreating the environment to be like Shibuya. It's pure psychological warfare. Mahito wants to prove to Yuji that you're still that weak kid. You're still the murderer of Shibuya with trauma. But as Yuji would say, it doesn't matter. Mahito instantly activates his technique, twisting the space around them and spawning warped creatures from every direction. This is his realm, where everything bends to his will. And if Yuji manifests even the slightest physical form in this space, then Mahito believes he can reshape it with a single touch for victory. Everything then collides into a huge sphere, with Mahito believing he's stronger than ever due to his environmental advantage. He activates domain expansion to touch Yuji's soul, but it all fails. Mahito doesn't even finish the incantation. His tongue is ripped clean out mid-sentence, and every single finger is severed before the domain signs can complete. We then get the coldest, most disgusting, and most powerful feat in all of JJK history. Yuji still has his hands in his pockets. No domain, no hand signs, no nothing. He has cut everything equally in all directions on the entire soul plane. And this feat of strength, it needs to be explained properly. If you want to turn something like a sphere into a cube, you can't just slash it once. You have to cut it from multiple omnidirection. And that means Yuji didn't just throw one strong attack. He sliced from every direction at the same time with perfect control. This is precision on a 3D level. So what Sukuna did to Kashima was insane, dicing a person into a waffle, but what Yuji just did here is on another level entirely. He divided an entire realm into one. And remember, this is the soul plane. Yuji made a binding vow allowing Dismantle to target the soul directly. He understands the contours at a level only Mahito and Sukuna ever demonstrated. And now, this feat of power proves he's mastered it completely. And that's crazy, because Maki's soul-splitting katana, it would not even affect Yuji at this point. He would be able to RCT its damage, especially since his blood manipulation makes it even easier than what Sukuna had to do in that raid. Now let's look back at chapter 130. Mahito was stated to activate domain expansion faster than all disaster curses and most sorcerers because he combined two steps into one. He was confident he could kill Yuji before Sukuna even had time to switch, but now Yuji cuts him apart before there's time to react. So when people talk about speed, remember Gege only beat Sukuna in their domain clash by 0.01 seconds, but Prime Yuji's operating at a level of efficiency where the attacks land before the ritual even begins. If he truly uses full power, the window to cast a domain might not even exist. So at this point, we know Yuji has surpassed everyone thanks to the sequel proving it multiple times. Osaki's full power being stopped with the palm of his hand was evidence that Yuji uses shrine with precision just like Sukuna did against Yuta. Chainsaw-like slashes grind against the weapon without ever touching it. Mino even realizes there's no delay in Yuji's energy flow. His output goes to his fist instantly, proving his level of efficiency is equal to the Six Eyes and Sukuna. But it doesn't stop there. Yuji's Dismantle killed every cursed spirit, resulting in a nuclear explosion. And when you take into account Tokyo's geography, the range of that attack was at least 6 kilometers across. But in this chapter 22, his aura farming continues, just as he promised that within any era, any name, any form, he would kill Mahito. Now as he fears for his life, Yuji walks up to him and says, "Bro, listen, were you always this weak?" And he throws his headpiece to Maru. Like, those are Sukuna's genes working overtime, people. This is the type of stuff the king would say to his weaker opponents. So with Mahito defeated and his technique secure, the plan to change the world begins. But Yuji thinks about his friends, wondering if Mahito messed with them when they passed through the cycle of samsara. After all, Mahito did wait for Sukuna and spoke to him, but Maru claims souls cannot interfere with one another as Mahito doesn't have much curse energy anymore. However, for the subjugation, Maru using his technique brought Mahito back to his full strength. And I think at this point, we can say Maru's technique is basically whatever Gege wants it to be, as the whole plot is because of it. Bro created an intergalactic spaceship, can break physics and inertia, can make aliens speak to humans learning language instantly, absorb information, make a door to the soul world, create harmony. Bro, like, what can this technique not do at this point? But now, everything is finally in place. Mahito has been reduced to nothing more than a tool, where the irony has peaked, because this patch face would make dolls of others but now has become one. Also, Yuki's lifetime of research on the soul has been fully integrated into the plan. The Mul ores are confirmed to absorb not just curse energy, but curse techniques themselves. And inside the ring, it has decades of Yuta's stored curse energy to make this plan work. So Yuji begins discussing the next step. This is where Yuki's true plan comes in. She believed curses exist because humans leak energy through negative emotion. So she proposed two solutions. The first one is to remove curse energy from humans entirely, and option 2, make everyone a sorcerer so curse energy could be controlled. However, both these scenarios, they actually create huge problems. Yuji instantly challenges option 2, stating it's not viable for their goal. The harm from the spirits would just turn into violence from curse users instead. And he's not wrong. Think about it. Turning everyone into sorcerers is insanely reckless, because before Modulo, monsters like Gojo and Sukuna were extremely rare calamities, happening over centuries. Sukuna was only remembered 1,000 years later because he could take over the world compared to a nuke. Gojo's birth literally shifted the balance of the world. Now imagine making millions of people potential sorcerers. You drastically increase the probability that someone like Gojo or Sukuna appear on a regular basis. Now, although that would give us more peak fiction and would be cool to see, risk this. There is zero guarantee that they would be good people. For example, if someone is born with a curse technique capable of planetary destruction, what would happen? Yuki's black hole didn't end the world because Tengen's barriers contained it, and because she restrained herself. But give that level of power to someone evil, it would be game over. Now, to enjoy more peak fiction about Jujutsu Kaisen, watch this video on your screen right now.